What if everything we thought we knew about education was wrong? What if grades, tests, and lectures were not the pillars of learning, but the very things holding it back? What if the most important lessons can't be memorized, but must be experienced? Today, we dare to ask. Are we teaching students to succeed in school, or to thrive in life? Welcome back to Real-World Learning, where we disrupt the ordinary and challenge the norm. Today's episode is not just content. It's a call to action. A message to every educator, parent, student, and policymaker. Because we're diving into this, let's start with this quote from David Brooks. Students learn best when lessons are active rather than passive, engaging instead of distracting, meaningful with connections to prior knowledge gained inside or outside the classroom instead of irrelevant, socially interactive rather than completely independent, iterative with opportunities to generate and test hypotheses, and joyful not dull. That's not just philosophy. That's science. That's human nature. And most importantly, that's the future. Or at least, it should be. Section 1, The Myth of Passive Learning. Let's face it. Passive learning is easy, for the system. Sit down. Be quiet. Take notes. Memorize. Repeat. Test. It's efficient. It's standardized. It's scalable. But here's the truth. Passive learning isn't real learning. Neuroscience shows that when students are actively participating, when they're moving, questioning, building, experimenting, their brains light up. When they're passively receiving, they might as well be asleep. So why, then, do we keep building classrooms for silence, instead of curiosity? Section 2, Engagement versus Entertainment. Now let's talk engagement. Not distraction. Not gimmicks. Real engagement happens when students are mentally and emotionally invested. When lessons speak to their world. Their passions. Their sense of wonder. But here's where it gets controversial. Engagement is not entertainment. And not every moment in the classroom should be a performance. Learning should be engaging, but not at the cost of depth. We don't need classrooms that entertain. We need classrooms that ignite. Section 3, Connecting to Prior Knowledge. Here's something we've ignored for too long. Students don't walk into classrooms as blank slates. They bring their lives with them. Their culture. Their struggles. Their questions. Their gifts. When we ignore that, when we pretend that learning only happens in four walls, we lose them. When we connect lessons to prior knowledge, to life outside the classroom, something shifts. It's no longer just education. It becomes relevance. It becomes empowerment. Section 4, Learning is Social. Let's bust another myth. That the smartest student is the one who works alone. In the real world, we collaborate. We brainstorm. We build off each other's ideas. Why should school be any different? Social interaction in learning doesn't just build knowledge, it builds empathy, communication, and innovation. So let's ask ourselves. Are we building leaders? Or just good test takers? Section 5, The Power of Iteration. Failure is not the opposite of learning. It is learning. When students are given opportunities to generate and test hypotheses, to fail safely, reflect, and try again, they build resilience. But in many classrooms, there's no room for failure. Only penalties. Imagine if Edison had been graded on how many times he failed before inventing the light bulb. Section 6, The Joy Factor. Now let's talk about the most underestimated, and controversial, element of learning. Joy. Yes, joy. Too often, we equate rigor with misery. We assume that serious learning must be dry, lifeless, and quiet. But joyful learning is not frivolous. It's not childish. It's essential. Because when students feel safe, seen, and inspired, they remember. They grow. They love learning. And isn't that the goal? So now, let's shake the table. If we know all this, why are we still building schools that feel more like factories than ecosystems? Why are we still testing compliance over creativity? Why are we not demanding an education revolution? Here's where you come in. Educators, what's stopping you from teaching differently? Parents, what kind of learning do you want for your kids? Students, what kind of learning excites you? Drop a comment. Start a debate. Share your truth. Because we can't fix what we're not willing to question. Conclusion. Students learn best when learning is alive. When it moves. When it connects. When it feels. Not every child will become a scientist or historian. But every child deserves to be curious. To be seen. To be engaged. And that's not just good teaching. That's human teaching. Active. Engaging. Relevant. Social. Iterative. Joyful. This is what real learning looks like. Subscribe. Share. Like. Comment. Speak up. The revolution in education starts with you.